Okay, so again, we're going to use our paper. Unless you still have your Cornell notes, you can fill all that stuff in. This lesson is 3.1. Even though we're on chapter 1 now, we're just going to keep the order of kind of what we've been doing, right? And then we have a topic. The topic is rates. Okay, you can put your name on here. Today's date is, I don't know if I changed it up there, but I think it's the 20th. Yeah. And put your period number, so this is period 3. Okay. The EQ is up on the board, and it says, what are rates and unit rates? Pretty simple. So what are rates and unit rates? Oops, can't spell today. There we go. Okay. And you guys saw there was a couple definition words when you were previewing the chapter, right? The first one you said was rate, and the second one was unit rate, and that's our essential question. So we're going to answer this pretty quickly. So on the left-hand side, just write rate. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to try to put it in a little bit better English. The book says it's a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units. Okay? So let's just say a comparison of two different things, like teachers to students, buses to children, hits to runs, right? You hear a lot of these in sports. Okay? All right, and then we also have a unit rate. So skip a couple lines and write unit rate. And this basically just means when you have a denominator. It's hard to spell today. I don't know why. A denominator of 1. So you're taking your rate and you're simplifying it, so you get 1. And the example they gave you in the book was like the 80 beats per minute, right, when they were doing the heart rate thing. Okay? So we have other things like unit rate. I'm going to just put examples under here. Example. MPH. What is MPH?
Miles per hour.
Good. Okay, so that's a unit rate. We also, you don't drive yet, but we also have one that's called MPG. Miles per gallon. Yeah, so like when people are out shopping for cars, a lot of times they'll look at that to see how many miles per gallon they're going to get. Right? SUVs like mine doesn't do very well, but if you have a small lighter weight car, you're going to get more miles per gallon. And then sometimes they'll have price per pound or things like that too, or price per ounce. Does anybody ever go get frozen yogurt and they weigh it? You know how they put the cup on the, so you're paying per ounce when you go to get frozen yogurt. So those are things that are also unit rate. I'm just not going to write all that stuff down, but just wanted you guys to see that. Okay. Let's see what else you need to know. There's really not a lot on this. Like I said, it's a really simple thing. Sometimes they say, you guys saw in your book, it said you could use a bar diagram. I don't normally use the bar diagram. I might just compare separately. So let's do one example just so you guys have an example of each kind of thing. So example 1. Oh, I'll move it up. Sorry. Let's do one where you have to take money, $300, and we'll say that's for 6 hours. Let's make it more fun. Like, let's say you're renting a bounce house, because that's fun, and they tell you it's going to be $300 for 6 hours. Okay, so you want to figure out how much is it per hour, right? So all you have to do is put 300 divided by 6 in your calculator, and what is it, everybody? 50, because that was the easy one. So this just means it would be $50 per hour. Sometimes they'll write it like this. They'll put 50 and then a fraction, and on the bottom they'll write 1 hour. Either one is fine. The fraction bar means per. Interesting, right? Another meaning of that fraction bar. Okay, and then the one that I use a lot, so example 2, is if I am driving my car and I want to see, like after I fill it up with gas, I kind of want to see what is my gas mileage. So I look to see how many gallons of gas I put in my car, and then I look at my, it's called the odometer, right? It's like the reading of mileage. I'll look at that. And then I make my kids do this in the car because, you know, math teachers have to make their kids do math all the time. And so let's say I went 220 miles. This is a little bit unrealistic for my car, but let's just go with 8 gallons. Because my car, when I fill up, is over 20 gallons. But so I can figure out from this, like, what is my mile per gallon? So someone with a calculator, do the 220 divided by 8. Tell me what you get.
27.5.
Okay, so 27.5. Do you guys notice it's not like a perfect number like 27? Right? And that's okay. That's pretty realistic. So what this means is I get 27.5 miles per 1 gallon. I can do that, miles per 1 gallon. Okay? So your parents might do that too when they're filling up their car. They might do like a quick math thing. Maybe they don't tell you they're doing it. But has anyone ever heard their parents do that? Okay. So yeah, a few. Like I said, I quiz my kids. I'm like, okay kids, we went 240 miles and 20 gallons. What is that? And then they're like, oh mom, you know. That's all right, because they're getting smarter and they don't even know it. Okay? So that's kind of let's do one more example just to make sure. Because sometimes they don't work out to nice big numbers over 1. It's kind of weird. But let's say, because there's an example in your book where they had like a pack of 8 juice boxes. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, I did.
And it said it's $2, and they want to know how much is it per box. So they took the $2 for these 8 boxes, and they divide that by 8 boxes. And 2 over 8 is the same as 1 over 4, right, guys? Right? But I want to know, like, how much per box. So what does 1/4 really mean? Like, in money? Yeah, so then you would just write, okay, that's 0.25 and then the cents thing per box. So you have to be able to use a little bit of, like, number sense here to figure out what they're asking you. You wouldn't just leave this answer as, oh, it's 1/4, like, because that doesn't make any sense to anybody. But if you go back to the original problem and it says, find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes, how much is it for 1 juice box? Then that makes sense, right? You wouldn't say, oh, it's 1/4 for a juice box, because people look at you like you're crazy. So you would say, no, it's 25 cents for a juice box. Okay, any questions on this? Who thinks it's easy? Raise your hand. All right, we'll see. Okay.